protozoal infections of the digestive tract in poultry, coccidiosis, hexamyciasis, schistosomoniasis, trichomoniasis, other protozoal infections, cryptosporidiosis, sarcosporidiosis. Coccidiosis definition: avian coccidiosis is a common protozoal disease of poultry and many other birds characterized by diarrhea and enteritis. Coccidiosis in poultry affects the intestinal tract except for the renal coccidiosis in geese. Renal coccidiosis in the kidney and in the geese. Has a worldwide distribution. The development of intensive confinement production systems has increased the economic significance of this disease. Subclinical disease has been recognized as having important impact on performance in commercial meat bird production and a negative impact on flock uniformity of layer and breeder body. The development of effective anticoccidial drug and vaccine has made prevention of clinical disease and the negative effect on performance more manageable. Uncontrolled, Uncontrollable coccidiosis may cause of loss of production and even mortality. Coccidiosis can be one of the predisposing factors for necrotic enteritis caused by Clostridia perfringens. In game birds production, coccidia control is important in preventing outbreak of ulcerative enteritis in quail disease uh, or what's called quail disease, ulcerative enteritis, caused by Clostridium colinum, a normal inhabitant inside the intestine. Etiology: coccidiosis in chicken and turkey is caused by protozoal species of Eimeria. There are 9 described species of Eimeria in chicken and 7 in turkeys, but not all are severe pathogenic. Coccidia are host-specific, hence don't pass among the various classes of poultry, with the exception of Eimeria dispersa that affect turkey, quail, and other gallinaceous birds. Coccidia have a direct but complex life cycle. Infection is by the fecal-oral route, ingestion of the infected feed or water, litter, and soil result in infection. Here the life cycle of the coccidia. The osporulated infected coccidia oocyst is ingested here, are released in initiation of a series of asexual reproduction followed by a sexual cycle. Here the asexual cycle and here is the sexual cycle that lead to development of the thousands of new oocysts in the intestinal or ceca, and the unsporulated oocysts are shed in the feces. Here the oocyst here sporulated inside the intestine, get inside the intestine, schizont. After that rupture of this schizont, here the schizogony and gametogony inside the cell, and the macrogamete and microgamete combine together and make the zygote, and zygote become the oocyst, mature oocyst, and become again the sporocyst, which infect other cells. Here the outside the host, here inside the host, the intestine. When the bird eat the sporulated oocyst and get inside his intestine, and here the cell of the intestine, here the cell of the intestine. Here we find the clinical signs of the coccidia: blood, free blood in some severe cases. Here the oocyst, sporogony, and these oocysts under the microscope. These oocysts sporulate within 24 hours and then are infectious for other chicken or turkey. A single oocyst may give rise to more than 100,000 progeny. Coccidia produce lesions in the gut by destruction of the epithelial cell in which they develop and multiply, and by trauma to the intestinal mucosa and submucosa. Intestinal damage is directly proportional to the number of sporulated oocysts and the species ingested by the susceptible host. Speciation of the coccidia by microscopic feature of oocyst: its size, shape, color, length, and width, region of the guts, parasitized, the nature of the lesion produced, pre-patent period, sporulation time. All these help us in speciation of the coccidia. Recently, molecular tools have developed and demonstrated to be effective in the identification of several Hymeria species. Precise identification is of some value in selecting the most effective anticoccidial for control. With controlled exposure via the use of live coccidia vaccine, the birds develop long-term immunity, often without clinical signs of the infection. Current vaccines are given either at pre-hatch or post-hatch in the ovo in 18 or 19 days. Post-hatch immunity depends upon self-exposure to selected Hymeria for the stimulation and development of the immunity. Poultry maintain their immunity to species of coccidia by repeated re-exposure. Very important, repeated exposure, the immunity appears. The host remains susceptible to coccidial species not yet in controlled immunity. Birds may be infected simultaneously with more than one species. People are important vector for coccidia. Wet litter, warm temperature facilitates formulation and precipitate outbreak of coccidia. Here we find the Iberia species. Coccidia of a chicken, 9 species Iberia have been described in chicken: Iberia cervulina, Nicatrix, Maxima, Brontai, Tenella, Metis, Mivati, Baracox, Hagani. Clinical disease is determined by the species of the infecting coccidia. Less pathogenic species produce few or no lesions. Cervulina, its place; Maxima, its place; and this is Brontai, and it's its place; and the Mecatrix, its place; and this is Pinella, in the two Sicae. Here we symptoms different from each other. Pathogenicity. Here the most important pathogenic, the Brontai and the Cervulina and the Tenella, they produce blood. Mecatrix also produce blood. Very severe and very fatal. Mecatrix, Nella, Acervulina. The more pathogenic species often cause diarrhea, which may be mucoid or bloody. Dehydration often accompanies the diarrhea. Diarrhea and dehydration are soon followed by the ruffled feathers, anemia, stress, weakness, retraction of the head and neck, and somnolence. Growth rate is often adversely affected. In laying hens, coccidiosis is usually manifested by drop in egg production. Depigmentation of the skin may be apparent in well-established cases. Morbidity and mortality within a flock may vary greatly, but both can be very high. Hymeria cervulina, this is its place, is a moderately severe pathogen causing enteritis in the interior of the third of the intestine. The first part, the enteritis can be mild to severe and cause thickening of the mucosa. Many affect skin pigment, may affect the skin pigmentation due to malabsorption of carotenoid and reduce food conversion. Transverse white to gray striations are visible in the mucosa. Transverse white to gray striations here. Oocyst is mucosal scraping. In mucosal scraping, moderate in size. If we make a smear and look at under the microscope, the size of the egg varies from 18 to 14 micron. This type of coccidiosis occurs rather frequently in older birds. His location is also favored by other less pathogenic species. His location also favored by other less pathogenic species. Frequently, multiple species will be present, obscuring diagnosis. This species is one of the most prevalent in commercial poultry operations. Eimeria nicatrix causes severe enteritis characterized by congestion, hemorrhage, fibrosis, and blood in the middle small intestine. And this is displayed, and this is the appearance of the lesion. Also, this is the appearance of the blood inside the intestine. We open it. Small intestine with middle small intestine with blood feces. The intestine often is marked dilated, inflamed, thickened, white to yellow foci, and the petechial hemorrhage may be seen through the serosa of an opened gut. Here, these lesions are the development of the large schizoid, predominantly in the mid-small intestine. Causes high mortality, often cause disease in the commercial broiler breeder or layer pot. Hymeria maxima. Maxima is moderately pathogenic and may cause moderately high mortality. Hymeria maxima is moderately pathogenic and may cause moderately high mortality. It causes mild to severe enteritis, sometimes with thickening of the intestinal wall and marked dilatation of the middle small intestine. Intestinal content may be bloody, very large oocysts from 30 to 20 micron, often with a golden color. Large gametes are diagnostic for this species. Here we find the lesion, and this is its place in the intestine. Eimeria bronchi causes enteritis in the lower small intestine, rectum, proximal cecum. In severe cases, fibrinous or fibrinotic mass of debris may cover the affected mucosa or produce caseoscore in the ileum and rectum. These oocysts are fairly large, 24 to 18 micron each, with polar granule. Eimeria bronchi is moderately severe pathogen that can produce moderate mortality, loss of weight gain, or feed conversion. Eimeria tenella is highly pathogenic, cause a marked typhlitis, inflammation of the cecae, with occasional involvement of the adjacent area of the intestine. Large cluster of the schizoid may be seen in microscopic scraping of the ceca. Hymeria can cause high morbidity, mortality, reduced weight gain in commercial broiler or layer poultry. This species is commonly found in commercial poultry. Hymeria there are no clinical lesion with this species. Lower small intestine which may be appear pale and flaccid. Pathogenic effect on the weight gain and cessation in egg production of single comb white leghorn has been demonstrated. Primary writing cause reduced weight gain, mortality. This species is moderately pathogenic, causing bloody mucoid enteritis in severe cases. Lesion may be extended throughout the entire small intestine. White spots may be seen scattered throughout the serosa, are visible in the mucosa. Oocysts in mucosal scraping are relatively small, broadly ovoid in shape, 15, 13. This location is also favored by other species such as Eimeria cervulina, thereby obscuring the diagnosis. Eimeria paracox causes watery intestinal content with mucus and mucoid cast in the duodenum. There may be reduced weight gain, loss of pigmentation, dehydration, and poor feed conversion. Eimeria agami reported caused watery intestinal content and catarrhal inflammation. This species is relatively rare in commercial broiler chicken. Control, hygiene, sanitary measure like the removal of dirty litter, wet and caking spots, the cleaning and disinfection of equipment and the building at the end of each grow out period will greatly contribute to the reduction in the contamination of the environment. Control, anticoccidial compound in feed are the most common method control. However, coccidia may become resistant to the anticoccidial. Therefore, rotation of type of product may be used to prolong efficacy. No anticoccidial is highly effective against all species of coccidia, although some are effective against multiple species. Several anticoccidial are approved for prevention of coccidiosis, although not all the commercially available, such as amprolium, menincin, clopidogrel, nicarbazine, robinadine, dicuent, lasalocide, halogorfitinone, narcin, diclazuril, simodramycin. Not all products might be able to used for all poultry species. Turkey are extremely sensitive to salinomycin and narcin. Care should be taken in choosing the product to be used. Traditionally, anticoccidial has been divided into two categories based on their effect on the parasite. Coccidiostatic development of the parasite is stopped without the destruction of the parasites. Coccidiocidal destruction of the parasite, as a few products presented both types of the activity. Another classification was defined based on the mode of action, mode of production of the molecule. Therefore, anticoccidial are also referred as chemical or synthetic product and ionophore fermentation product. A number of products are available worldwide, and each product will present some well-established strengths and weaknesses. Anticoccidial may be used as a single product through the life of the bird trait program or as a combination of products given one after the other during the life of the bird shuttle programs. For trait programs, ionophores are used in majority of cases as the best compromise between the control of the disease and the gross performance of the bird. The shuttle program, a wide variety of combinations have appeared over the years with the use of 2 to 4 different products. Most popular program is the combination of a chemical product during the first 2 to 3 weeks, followed by an ionophore product from 2 to 3 weeks, but the reverse option is also frequently used. The combination of two products given at the same time is also used as a means to improve anticoccidial control. Trade program will be used for a period of the year and shuttle program for the rest of the year. All these systems highlight the complexity of the prevention of coccidiosis, the monitoring of the performance. This program is critical to their long-term effectiveness as parasites will develop resistance to anticoccidial, often observed for the chemical product, or increased tolerance to anticoccidial. Here, a list of the anticoccidial, the molecule, mechanism of action, and the dosage, advantage and disadvantage, the amprolium, clopidogrel, and the dicuin, diclazuril, alolophigonone, and this is the mechanism of action, thiamine antagonist, electron transfer inhibitor, nucleotide analog, and here the advantage and disadvantage. Vaccine. The first anticoccidial vaccine appeared in 50s, and their usage was mostly limited to broiler breeder layer raised on the floor and turkeys. Currently, the use of vaccine has increased tremendously, expanding to a broader use in broiler vaccine. Are usually made of live strain of several Eimeria species, Eimeria acidulina, Eimeria maxima, Eimeria tenella are most commonly used. Commercial coccidiosis vaccine are available. Bland exposure of the young chicks or pullet to small number of oocysts by coarse spray at the hatchery or in feed or water or gel blocks in the box of the baby chick 1 day old or in ovo at 18 to 19 days incubation have been used successfully The number of oocytes of each Chlamydia species provided in the vaccine is critical to initiating immunity. Without causing clinical disease, some vaccines contain drug-sensitive strain of Chlamydia, facilitating establishment of drug-sensitive population and extending the usefulness of the anticoccidia. Some vaccines may contain attenuated or precious line of Chlamydia. Most vaccines are given during the first week of age, either by spraying at the hatchery, by water administration, by spraying on the feed, or by incorporation into gelatinous material placed at the hatchery in the boxes delivering the chicks. Natural exposure in chicken are exposed to modest number of oocysts in their environment. They develop immunity to the species of Coccidia represent. Exposure must be moderate and the clinical signs will appear. Exposure can be limited if dry litter conditions are maintained. Wet litter, including wet areas around the water, is especially to be avoided. This practice is rarely used in large commercial operations. Treatment prevention is emphasized, however, chemical agents widely used for treatment include ambrolium, sulfa-dimethoxyzine, sulfa-quinoxaline, sulfamazamine. Sulfa should not be used in layers. It causes a drop in milk production. Required withdrawal time are usually required prior to marketing. Increase vitamin A and K in feed or water may reduce mortality and hasten recovery respectively. A specific management of the flock and its environment will require to achieve a low background cycling of the parasite in the birds, allowing for the development of immunity. Coccidia of Turkey. Seven species of Eimeria have been described in Turkey in USA. The four pathogenic species of Eimeria in Turkey: Eimeria adenoides, Eimeria miliagrimetes, Eimeria gallobovanus, Eimeria dispersa. Non-pathogenic: Eimeria inocua, Eimeria blegripis, Eimeria subrotundana. Coccidiosis in Turkey resembles the disease in chicken. The diarrhea may be watery, mucoid, and bloody, and mortality may occur. Eimeria miliagrimetis. Eimeria miliagrimetis causes spotty congestion and petechial from duodenum to ileum, dilatation of jejunal and mucosal coast. Eimeria dispersa. Eimeria dispersa produces a creamy colored serosal surface, dilatation of the intestine, yellowish mucoid ceases in middle of one third of the intestine. Eimeria gallophognus causes edema, ulceration of mucosal area, yellow oxidate, and flow of the blood, flecks of the blood in pieces. Lesions are principally located in the posterior one third of the intestine, ileum, and the large intestine and cecum. Eimeria adenoides affect the posterior one third of the intestine, is responsible for liquid feces with mucus flock in the blood. This is the lesion. Serology. Simply, serology is the study of serum antibody levels, also known as titers. The immune system develops antibodies that circulate in the blood after a bird is exposed to antigen, whether by vaccination or exposure to a wild strain pathogen. Antibodies are found in the serum portion of the blood, the liquid portion after the clot development. We take the blood sample and leave it for 2 hours, 3 hours, and the blood will clot and the serum will separate. Or alternative, we can put it in the centrifuge and take the serum immediately. Serum is free of all blood cells and the clotting factor, and this is the difference between serum and plasma. The serum, we make ELISA on the serum, detect antibodies titer for Newcastle, for IB, for IBD, for influenza,